Today, we are looking at Joe and Mac for the Super Nintendo. Joe and Mac was released on the Super Nintendo by Data East in 1991. It was also released on several other platforms, including the NES, SEGA Genesis, and the Game Boy. But today we are looking at the Super Nintendo version. Back in the distant past, way back when rock and roll was just a rock and fast food was dinner you couldn't catch, lived two cave dudes named Joe and Mac. Whether it was dinosaur demolition or pterodactyl hand gliding, life for the boys was pretty cool. Cool, that is, until a bogus bunch of Neanderthals crashed the village and kidnapped all the cave babes. Now, the cave babes are out there somewhere, so what are you waiting for? It's up to Joe and Mac to get them back. Remember, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button as it helps out this channel grow. And don't forget to hit the notification button for all future videos. So, how is Joe and Mac today? Here is our review of Joe and Mac for the Super Nintendo. It's a pretty basic story and probably what you'd expect. Joe and Mac, two cavemen, are having a good time one day when suddenly some bad cavemen appear and kidnaps all the cave chicks from them while they are inside their home. Joe and Mac are aware that they must save the girls and that there are many challenges in the past to bringing them all home. This game is a side-scrolling platformer game. You play as either Joe or Mac, and you are exploring their ancient territory. Along the way, you encounter deadly cavemen, many dinosaur species, and other surprises along the way. Of course, your club is your primary weapon, but the good news is that you may acquire more weapons along the way. Bones, boomerangs, flames, and wheels are a few examples, and each of these weapons is distinctive in its own way. You may also come across some bonus levels. To do this, you must strike an egg without any enemies around, and a little pterodactyl will emerge from an egg and transport you to the bonus level, where you may attempt to obtain a skull key and many other items. These skull keys can be used to unlock other bonus levels on the map, which can give you even more items, and there is a boss fight at the end of each level. Some of them are easy and some are a little challenging. There are perhaps a dozen levels in total, so it's a long way from Joe and Mac's house to inside a T-Rex. Even if the game occasionally becomes a little tedious, it's never impossible to beat. And if you run out of lives, there are limited continues. The visuals are entertaining, vibrant, and free of any frame rate dips, clippings, or sluggishness. But given how detailed the sprites are, I found it a little odd that the people and enemies only had a few frames and animations for each move they do. With the exception of their hair and clothing colors, Joe and Mac pretty much look the same. Mac has messy blue hair while Joe has messy green hair, and around their waist and up to their knees, they are covered in grass and leaves. Joe is wearing green while Mac is wearing blue. The surroundings are quite colorful and beautiful. The first level is the most fundamental. It has gray rocks, green grass, and a background of a cloudy blue sky. However, the main feature of the level is a sleeping dinosaur in the center. It occupies a few screens and is quite detailed. For a stronger effect, the next level features a lot of water and vegetation, trees, streams, ice caves, and finally numerous layers of volcanic destruction will be encountered as you go. All the backdrops are fantastic looking as well. Overall, they did a great job with their presentation, and all the bosses are enormous and really good looking. The sound in this game isn't that bad. What you would probably expect with all the caveman music all throughout. I always like music with a good type of beat to it. and music that is always kicking. This game definitely delivers on that. From the opening level to all the boss fights. The music is very tropical in a sense. The tropical style of music stays the same, but depending on the level, it can be more upbeat, like the grassy levels, or more intense, like the volcano levels. Simple sound effects are used. You may always hear a weird popping and screaming sound when anything dies. Dinosaurs roar, and you can hear the sound of a boomerang or a bone whizzing through the air, and when Joe and Mac are struck, they utter an absurd, high-pitched owl noise. Joe and Mac is a pretty good two-player game. When I look back playing this game with my brother years ago, I remember enjoying it a lot more than many other challenging two-player games that were tough to win. Sometimes you just want a simple game which is not too complicated to beat, or trying to figure out what to do next when you get stuck. I think this is a game that should be in your Super Nintendo library. Overall, the stages are really well done. The game's concept is basic enough to be interesting. The multiplayer is fantastic, and it has that soothing retro atmosphere that every great Super Nintendo game has. It's just one of those games that you just can't resist playing. You get to race through jungles, fighting off dinosaurs to rescue your women, and it's entertaining and just plain fun. Joe and Mac for the Super Nintendo is getting an 8.5 out of 10. What did you think about Joe and Mac for the Super Nintendo? Please leave comments below to share your thoughts. That will do it for this episode. We do live streams throughout the week, mostly games from the Xbox or the Nintendo Switch, and we also do retro games throughout the week as well. And remember, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up for your support. Thank you for watching, and I will see you here on the next episode. Have a great day.
Yeah.